Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the third part of chapter number 2. In the previous part we discussed about the beneficial and harmful microorganisms. Today we are going to discuss about the topic. The topic is how microorganisms causes spoilage of food. Sometimes food may get spoiled due to the variety of reason like not keeping it covered, improper cooking, not preserving the food properly and change in the temperature of refrigerated foods due to power fluctuation. Lots of time we found that food gets spoiled and there are lots of reason behind it like not keeping it covered or improper cooking or not preserving the food properly or change in the temperature of the refrigerated food. Microorganisms that grow on our food sometimes produce toxic substances. Microorganisms, when they grow on the food, sometimes they produce toxic substances and they are harmful to our health. And the toxic substances get produced by microorganisms make the food poisonous. These toxic substances produced by microorganisms make the food toxic and that causes food poisoning and it can sometimes even causes death. So it's very harmful. The spoiled food can be identified by its unpleasant smell. We can identify the spoiled food by unpleasant smell or changed odor and bad taste or due to its bad taste. The major symptoms of food poisonings are vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, headache and fever. These are the major symptoms of food poisoning. Salmonella and Staphylococci are the bacteria that causes food poisoning. So it is very necessary to preserve the food from being spoiled and there are many ways. Most microorganisms cannot grow or multiply when conditions are dry, temperature is low or temperature is very high. So we can save the food by food preservation. Food preservation is a process by which spoilage of food is prevented by using certain chemicals or by physical methods. Methods used for food preservation. Number first is chemical method. Food can be preserved by using food preservatives. And what are food preservatives? Food preservatives are chemical substances which control the growth of microorganisms. Sodium benzoate and citric acid are some common chemicals used for food preservation. Second method is preservation by common salt. People use salt for preserving the food and mostly fish and meat by salting. Salting draws out water or moisture from the food and thus it prevents the microbial growth. When we covered the fish and meat by the salt, so salting draws out water or moisture from the food and prevent the microbial growth. The next method is prevention by sugar. Jams, jellies are preserved for a long time because of the presence of sugar in them and sugar control the growth of food spoiling microorganisms by reducing the moisture content of the food and that's how sugar is very helpful in the preservation of food. Preservation by oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar also control the growth of food spoiling microorganisms and they use as a preservative for fruits and vegetable in the form of pickles. The next method is pasteurization. Pasteurization is a process for preservation of milk. Now what happens in this method? That milk is heated at about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds to kill the bacteria present in it. So first we heated the milk for 15 to 30 seconds at about 70 degrees Celsius, and afterwards we just quickly cool the milk around 10 degrees Celsius to prevent the remaining bacteria from growing. So that's how pasteurization is done, and it controls the growth of microorganisms in the milk. There are few other methods also. By cooling or freezing. Fruits, vegetables, cooked food are kept at low temperature in the refrigerator or in the deep freezer and control the growth of the microorganisms. By dehydration also we can control the growth of microorganisms. There are few advantages of food preservation. It decreases the wastage of food. We can keep the food for long time. Nutrition value of the food is retained for a long time, and ensure the availability of food at a distance, place, and during the off season. Now the next topic is nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is needed for the formation of protein, amino acid, and nucleic acid. The circulation of nitrogen through living things like plant and animals and non-living environment like air, soil, and water is called nitrogen cycle. Means the movement of nitrogen or the circulation of nitrogen between living things and non-living things. Living things like plants and animals, and non-living environmental things like air, soil, and water. And that circulation is called nitrogen cycle. The steps involved in nitrogen cycles are nitrogen fixation, nitrogen assimilation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. So let's start. Number first, nitrogen fixation. Our atmosphere has 78% nitrogen gas. Plants and animals cannot take atmospheric nitrogen directly. Yes, 78% of nitrogen gas is present in the atmosphere, but plants and animals cannot take it directly from the atmosphere. It has to be first converted into useful nitrogen compounds which can be easily absorbed. The conversion of free atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound is known as nitrogen fixation. Means nitrogen fixation means the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound, and it is known as nitrogen fixation. Now nitrogen fixation is occur in the following two ways. Number first way is lightning. When lightning strikes, nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere react and form oxides of nitrogen. Means when lightning strike during rainy season mostly, so nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere react and form oxides of nitrogen. That oxides of nitrogen dissolve in rainwater and form nitric acid. And nitric acid react with limestone in the soil and convert into the nitrates. So that's how lightning helpful in the nitrogen fixation. And the second method is biological nitrogen fixation. Certain plants like peas, beans, pulses have rhizobium bacteria in their roots, in the root nodules. These bacteria can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into nitrogen compounds. And that's how plant utilize that nitrogen from the atmosphere. Now the second step is nitrogen assimilation. Nitrogen assimilation is a process of conversion of inorganic nitrogen compound into organic compound that become a part of living organism. It's called nitrogen assimilation. And how it take place? When plant absorb nitrate from the soil, dissolve in water with the help of roots, and convert them into the plant protein. And when herbivorous animal eat green plants, so it convert the plant protein into the animal protein. and then herbivorous animal eaten by the carnivorous animal. So that's how that nitrogen entered in the plant's body to the herbivorous and into the carnivorous animal's body, and that process is called nitrogen assimilation. The third step of nitrogen cycle is ammonification. When plants and animal dies, the protein present in them converted into ammonium compounds by certain bacteria and fungi present in the soil, and that process is called ammonification. When plants and animal die, the protein present in their body is converted into the ammonia by bacteria and fungi present in the soil, and that process is called ammonification. So we can define ammonification as conversion of complex organic compound like protein into ammonia. Means conversion of protein into ammonia is called ammonification. The next step is nitrification. Ammonium salt in the soil is converted first into nitrate by Nitrosomonas bacteria. Means the ammonium salt is converted into nitrate first of all, and the nitrates are then converted into the nitrates by Nitrobacter bacteria. These bacteria are called nitrifying bacteria. The nitrates so formed in the soil can once again be absorbed by the plant, and this process is called nitrification. So nitrification is a process in which ammonium salt is converted into nitrates first of all, and then that nitrates is converted into nitrates. Means ammonium salt is converted into nitrites, and that nitrites is converted into nitrates, and nitrates can easily absorb by the plant. So that process is called nitrification. So nitrification is a process of conversion of ammonia into nitrates. The last step is denitrification. Some of the nitrates are absorbed by plants, and rest of the nitrates is converted by the bacteria Pseudomonas into nitrogen gas, and that nitrogen gas escapes into the atmosphere. And that process of conversion of nitrates into free nitrogen gas is called denitrification, and that's how the whole cycle is completed. So that's it from this chapter. Now very soon I will send you the exercise. Thank you.